Hi everyone, and welcome to Spirit Basics, the show for both the beginner and the avid connoisseur of fine spirits. I'm Jennifer Allan.
And I'm Stephen Olson. And today's episode, we're going to explore flavored vodkas as our second part of our vodka series.
Last week we talked about vodka coming from anywhere and almost anything.
That's right.
And we learned that the word vodka comes from the Polish word dzięcioła woda, meaning little water.
You say that so well.
Thanks.
We also learned last week that vodka by definition is odorless, colorless, and tasteless, thereby being a neutral spirit. And although there are no laws governing vodka, there's a lot of lore and a lot of history. It's interesting if you think about the fact that flavored vodkas, we think of them as being brand new and exploding on the market recently, and quite frankly, they are driving the market, the vodka market right now. But they may be the oldest spirits in the world. When you think about some of the things we've talked about in earlier episodes, the idea that spirits were originally used for medicinal purposes, for religious ceremony, for preserving herbs and spices, for sailors going on long voyages or soldiers going into battle, these were those products because they were neutral grain spirits preserving flavor. And of course, now we've come full circle because what's driving the flavored vodka category is that bartenders have dialed it in and are making great cocktails out of them.
And I've had the lemon vodkas and the cranberry vodkas, but I know that there's many other flavors out there. So can you tell us about that?
You know, some of them actually have historical roots. For example, the herb and spice thing from Eastern Europe, the Zubrovka, one of my favorites is bison grass vodka from Poland, which oftentimes we mix with apple juice. It's a traditional Polish drink, but a beautiful vodka. There's also Percovka, which is pepper vodka, hot, spicy peppers of all different kinds. In Eastern Europe, we have older traditions, and now they're starting to bring in some of the new flavors. Scandinavia has been a leader from the beginning on some of these fruit flavors. We oftentimes see, as you said, lemon and orange and different berries, currants, raspberries, cherries, and so forth. Now we're seeing vanilla vodkas, which are very exciting. And quite frankly, the palette for flavored vodka is absolutely limitless. The more flavors there are, the more bartenders will continue to come up with great cocktails for these spirits.
Well, for an even deeper look at flavored vodka, we turn now to our master mixologist, Dale Degroff.
The newest thing in vodka, flavored vodkas, but not really. Flavored vodkas are actually the oldest thing in vodkas. In the very beginning in Poland and Russia, when vodka distilling equipment was quite primitive, we didn't have the pure 190 proof spirit coming off the stills like we do today. So there was a lot of imperfections, a lot of impurities. And they discovered quickly one of the ways of getting rid of those imperfections and those impurities was to flavor the vodka. And they flavored it with just about everything you can imagine. Honey, spices, even other wines like port, Madeira, were added to vodka to give it body, to give it flavor, to make it palatable. They discovered in the 18th century the joys of distillation, especially charcoal distillation, which would take a lot of the impurities out. But it wasn't until that famous continuous still was invented in 1830 that we were able to make that pure vodka, this product that we know today as vodka. If we had tasted vodka from the 17th century, believe me, would have tasted nothing like what we think vodka is supposed to taste like today. Because in those days, almost all vodka was indeed flavored vodka. But now flavored vodka is on the return. What are you going to do to get more market share if you're making a product that has basically, by law, tasteless and odorless? You add flavor. And flavors will bring more market share to you. And what are the flavors that they decided to add, these vodka makers? Well, the first one was probably commercially Absolute Citron, and then there were many that followed after it. We chose flavorings like orange, citrus, vanilla, but that's not unusual because what demographic were they marketing to? They were marketing to those same youngsters who grew up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s drinking what? Orange soda, vanilla Cokes, citrus-flavored sodas like 7-Up, etc., etc. So they chose the flavors that were familiar to us. They chose the flavors that were comfort food for us when they started giving us these flavored vodkas of the 90s and now of the new millennium. What are flavored vodkas for? By the way, it's not just flavored vodkas anymore. The whole idea of flavoring base spirits has now jumped to other categories. They're making flavored rums, mango, passion fruit. They're making flavored gins. Even tequila now is adding flavor to its products to increase their market share. And I'm not saying that these are bad things. There are some wonderful things out there in the market. There are some wonderful flavored products. There's even artisan distilled flavored vodkas like the Hanger ones and the Charbets from the artisan distillers of the United States. There's a lot of good product out there. It's an interesting category.
Straight ahead, we'll take a look at how vodka is made.
And our very own spirit insiders, Morgen Stone and Scott Hennessy, will share with us some of their adventures in the spirit world. That's when Spirit Basics returns.
Welcome back to Spirit Basics. It's time now to take a look at how flavored vodkas are made.
Well, you know, as a matter of fact, as I said, it's been around for a very long time. If you go all the way back to the primitive styles of vodka in Russia, the Tsars used to flavor this stuff with everything from acorns to fresh mint to horseradish and everything in between. I think one of the issues we need to discuss is that with flavored vodka, like with regular vodka or super premium vodka, there are no rules. It's a self-guidance system. And what that means is that the best producers are going to use natural flavors, and some people are going to use artificial flavors. So you want to be careful with that, and you can definitely taste the difference. Basically, it all comes down to how do we extract the flavor from the fruit or the spice that we want it, and then how do we impart that flavor back into the vodka? And there are basic ways to do it. In the old days, we'd literally take this neutral spirit and we'd put something in it, and we would call that infusion or even maceration if it were fruit and we're soaking it, for example. Now, we might cook it in, that would be percolation, or we might actually put it in the still and distill it with the vodka. That would be distillation, but in maybe an extra distillation. And what I would say is that most of the best vodkas in the world that are doing flavored vodkas have found a natural way to use natural flavors, to use one of those processes to extract the flavor, and then, generally speaking, redistilling that flavor in so that the flavors are integrated with the alcohol. One of the things we also have to watch for, particularly when we're making cocktails, is that many of the new flavored vodkas are lower proof. Some of them are also sweeter. And because of that, they may make great cocktails, but they may not make the cocktails that we think we're making with these other products. So it's a world to closely look at, but again, no question about it, when we have the flavors right, we're making great cocktails out of them.
And for an even deeper look at making flavored vodka, we turn now to our spirit guide.
Let's face it, guys. Flavored vodka, it's nothing new about that. While it's a big new thing on the market, it's really, that's the way vodka always was, right? I mean, because you made a neutral grain spirit or a vodka so that you could put something in it that the alcohol in that vodka helped preserve. You know, the medicinal quality of this berry or this twig or this leaf or this flower or whatever it was. So they've always, or almost always, been pretty much flavored, right? So let's think about how we do this. First, I make a vodka. Then I select the flavors I want to put in there. Now, in the old days, if you were making kind of flavored vodka, you would do what we call compounding. And compounding means I would just buy a flavor from a company that has a flavor and aroma essence. And most of the time, that was very sweet. And most of the time, it wasn't very good. And you just dump that in there and mix it up, and it tasted pretty much like it sounds. Well, things are a lot better today. Frankly, those companies that sell those essences to create compounded flavored vodkas, I think are very, very good. However, I'll admit, if you're going to make the very best stuff, then you're going to what we would either call macerate or steep or infuse to get your flavors in there. In other words, once again, I'll make a vodka, and then I may put the flavors in there and let them steep for a long time, or macerate. I may let them steep in a water solution for a long time. But finally, I'm going to seal all that together by distilling the essence or distilling what had the flavor in it together with the straight vodka one more time. That's the way you do it.
Well, now that we've taken a look at some of the history, the origins, and the process of making flavored vodka, it's time for an inside look.
Our spirit insiders Morgen Stone and Scott Hennessy take a trip to the Festivus Food and Beverage Gala for more information on flavored vodka. Let's take a peek.
We're here at the Festivus Food and Beverage Gala, and Morgan, I heard there's lots of vodka here.
Good, because I love martinis. Let's go get a coupon and get one.
I'm ready. why do you guys hold events like this?
Basically, we knew there was a demand for it, and then a lot of charities were coming to us and saying, you know, how can we make money? So it seemed to be a good fit. We've got the Children's Wish Foundation here as the fundraiser for this evening, and it works out well because everybody has a good time, and it's a really social setting. It's almost, in some cases, like it's a good date place or a good singles place because you can meet people, and there's always something to talk about. Hey, have you tried that booth? Have you done this? Have you done that? And obviously, if it's a big success.
Now, I noticed you guys got a lot of different flavors of vodka here. Tell me about them.
Well, we have the biggest line of vodkas in the entire world, actually. We've got pistachio, mango, melon, cranberry, grapefruit vodka.
So these are great for making martinis.
Incredible martinis.
So let's try one of these.
Absolutely. We'll do the cramolini. Melon vodka.
Okay.
And we're going to add a little bit of cranberry juice to it.
Would you ever add like a lime twist or anything to it?
I wouldn't,
No?
because we're using flavored vodka, so that negates the necessity for limes.
Perfect, thanks.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Oh, this is delicious. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah, cramolini. It's wonderful, isn't it?
Okay, you guys are drinking a drink that kind of looks like it has a body part in it right now. Do you know what that is?
Lychee martini,
What's in it?
lychee nut vodka.
So is it good? I don't know. I kind of heard that this was a girl's drink.
Well, I'm guilty there. It's pretty fruity.
Okay, so that's a fruit in that glass?
Yeah. It's an Asian fruit.
Is it good?
Yes, it's very good, very sweet.
So why do you think vodka goes good with these lychee fruits?
Because vodka is very versatile with juices, and lychee is a very sweet juice, so it will lessen the sweetness.
So what kind of drinks are you making here tonight? Like, what kind of martinis?
Well, we have vodka martinis, we have mixed martinis. Basically, they're cocktails. Popular ones would be the Malibu Meltdown, and we have the Belvedere with the lemon Belvedere straight up with some olives.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Scott, every event and martini must come to an end.
You know, it's sad, but it's true, Morgan.
Well, there's endless flavors of vodka. Which is your favorite?
You know, I don't know which flavor is my favorite because, like you said, there's just so many flavors. But my favorite drink here tonight had to be that lychee martini. The lychee juice was just nice with the vodka.
I agree. Well, that's it with Scott and I. Back to you, Stephen and Jennifer.
Another great report from our Spirit Insiders, and of course, they'll be back next week.
And when we come back, a lesson on how to drink flavored vodka. Don't go away.
Spirit Basics is brought to you in part by Willow Park Wines and Spirits.
Welcome back to Spirit Basics, the show for everyone who wants to learn more about your favorite cocktails. Right now, we're going to talk about how to drink flavored vodkas.
Well, and the first thing I'd say about drinking flavored vodkas is I like them with food. As in the Russian, Eastern European, Scandinavian tradition, these vodkas are fabulous with food. They can be used for an aperitif, with the meal, or after. Many applications.
So you're saying it's tradition with those cultures to have it with food, but we don't do that over here.
Well, interestingly enough, one of the hottest trends I'm seeing as I travel around is that, well, first of all, you can't open a restaurant today without a great house cocktail list. And what we're seeing in restaurants, this hot trend, is the idea of matching these house cocktails to the menu. I'm not talking about bar snacks, I'm talking about a legitimate menu. Whether they're cocktails or whether they're vodka neat chilled, they work with food. And I'm talking about the raw bar, oysters, for example, smoked salmon, sushi, sashimi. And imagine, you mentioned the Cosmopolitan earlier. Imagine that drink with a little fried calamari or some spicy Asian sauce. The opportunity here is immense.
Sounds delicious. Mm-hmm. For a closer look on how to enjoy flavored vodkas, we turn now to our Spirit Advisor.
You know, I'm a big fan of these flavored vodkas because I think there's quality in the aromas and the flavors in these vodkas that, well, frankly, back when I was starting out as a bartender, we didn't have access to. If we wanted to flavor something, we used liqueurs. And the liqueurs while there were perfectly good ones and a few great ones back then, there certainly weren't as many great liqueurs available back then as there are today. But flavored vodka, the quality of the flavors and the aromas showing up in those flavored vodkas, frankly, to me is superior often to what I can do by simply adding a liqueur in and of itself. So I'm wildly enthusiastic about that. And in fact, I wouldn't say that flavored vodka just encompasses citrus-style vodkas. There's all sorts of other flavors out there, of course, that we see. And one of those that I like to point out that people forget about is aquavit. Aquavit is flavored most of the time with caraway. Sometimes you'll stick it in a barrel and run it around the world like Linear Aquavit. Fine. Here's why I get excited about these is aquavit, one of my favorite combos I've ever had. Aquavit and pickled herring. Okay, I know, you're not running to the fridge to grab your pickled herring. Okay, work with me. Aquavit and smoked trout. Yes, that was good. Aquavit and smoked salmon. You see, the flavored vodka, the purity of a great neutral grain spirit and its ability to cut through all the flavor in something smoked like that, I think is very, very exciting. And that's what excites me most about flavored vodkas, is their ability to be drunk naked like this and to go with lots of different foods.
And now we turn to King Cocktail himself, Dale Degroff, for a lesson on making a new classic cocktail with flavored vodka.
So we're going to make probably the most ordered drink in the world today, the Cosmopolitan. And it is, internationally, nationally. If you're in a big city, a lot of people think that it's passé. No, it's still huge. I'm going to chill a martini glass. This drink, nobody really knows who invented this drink. I suspect that this drink was a way of marketing a new citrus vodka that came out in the 80s, but I can't tell for sure. But I'm going to use citrus vodka to make it. I have some citrus vodka from Grey Goose. Belvedere makes a good citrus vodka as well. Absolute makes a citrus vodka. And there are 4 ingredients in this drink, and if there are not 4 ingredients in the way you're making it wrong. You need to have citrus vodka, you need to have fresh lime juice, which means if the drink is not cloudy, if it's see-through, you're missing the fresh juice. Don't use reconstituted roses, any other kind of lime juice. Use fresh, and just a little bit, about 1/4 ounce is all you need. You just want to bring that flavor in, something to remind you that you're having an adult beverage. I love this little juicer. You can pick these babies up. My friend Julio Bremejo, who is the ambassador of tequila to America, gave me this as a gift. So we have 1/4 ounce of lime juice. We have a sour ingredient. We need a sweet ingredient. We're going to use about 3/4 ounce of orange liqueur by Cointreau. I'm going to use my shot of citrus vodka. Now the shot of citrus vodka is going to be according to your shot. I mean, what is your 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces? What do you like? I mean, that's going to be a call you're going to have to make. Standard shot, of course, is about 1.5 ounces. Okay, here we go. I'll measure. Why not? We're going to top off all this, and we're going to bring the color into the equation with the cranberry juice. But don't overuse the cranberry juice. We're not looking for a red drink here. We're looking for a pastel kind of drink. So give me some cranberry juice. Maybe 3/4 ounce at the most. This should be nicely chilled by now. Keep these in the freezer, by the way, when you're making drinks at home. It really, really works. We're going to shake it really hard. I have a theory about shaking. You shake when you have sweet and fruity ingredients. You stir when you have only spirit ingredients. Manhattan's martinis. So here we go. The Cosmopolitan. Toby Cecchini claims he invented this drink. I claim I invented the popular recipe because the original recipe called for roses, lime juice, and there was no fresh juice in it. And Madonna was seen drinking it at the Rainbow Room where I worked, and that picture was flashed around the world, and I was getting calls from Australia and from Germany. What was that drink that Madonna was drinking? So I gave the recipe out, and it became sort of the standardized recipe. But look at how beautiful that is. Pastel, not see-through, it's opaque. That's the way it should be. I'll have a little sip. Yes.
Mr. Degroff certainly does know his way around the bar. It is so refreshing to know that the craft of the cocktail is alive today.
And his drinks taste pretty good too.
Yes, they do.
After the break, we take a look at cooking with flavored vodka, and Spirit Basics returns. Welcome back to Spirit Basics. We're in the kitchen and we're joined by our Spirit Chef, Chef Allan. Thanks for joining us.
Hey Jennifer, I'm excited to be here, especially given the flavor of today's show.
Well, last time we were together, we talked about cooking with vodka. Today we're going to talk about cooking with flavored vodkas. Now, how do those flavors affect what's happening in the kitchen?
Makes all the difference in the world. You know, as we talked about, vodka itself is flavorless and odorless, and really it's one of the few spirits you're going to use to kick up the flavors with alcohol. Here, the alcohol is actually going to enhance the flavors that they've put in the vodka. And we have all sorts of different wonderful flavors now. Orange, vanilla, pepper. And it makes a world of difference because it directly translates into greater taste on the plate.
Okay, so we have a couple examples here. Tell us what we have.
Well, a great thing to use with vodka is shellfish. And here we have some prawns with some snow peas and with a nice little tomato sauce. But rather than adding citrus just by squeezing a lemon, we've put some lemon vodka into it. And you can smell how beautiful the aroma is out of that. And the vodka is actually going to infuse this dish with a really nice lemon taste. A stronger one than you'd get with just squeezing a lemon over it.
So if you have a recipe that calls for lemon or orange or cranberry or vanilla, can you substitute those ingredients with flavored vodkas?
Absolutely, and in fact, experimenting with these, in using them where you might use a flavor, is the best way to sort of kick up flavors in the kitchen. And in fact, the world is your oyster, and some of these would actually do very well just poured on an oyster.
I'll have to try that.
Absolutely.
So over here, I think we have some steaks.
Yeah, and this is a really nice recipe too, because with steak you want some flavors. These have been marinated in what in essence is a Bloody Mary, except that to give it the spice, we've used a pepper vodka and a really nice hot pepper vodka. And then just to cut the flavor a bit, we've melted a little bit of herb and tomato butter over it. But really what you've got is a steak and a Bloody Mary, except all in one dish.
So speaking of Bloody Marys, would you want to have a Bloody Mary while eating a Bloody Mary steak?
Well, you could. You may be duplicating the flavors a bit much. I think that the pepper vodka in this dish really brings out the nice flavors in the beef, and so I would probably drink it with a big red wine like a Shiraz or a Cabernet.
So again, it's thinking outside of the box and just trying to be a little bit more creative.
For sure. Go for it. This is just a wonderful new development, these flavored vodkas.
Well, I can't wait to dive into this. If you want to try any of these recipes at home, just log on to our website for the recipe. Over to you, Steve.
Thanks, Jennifer. Those are some great recipes, but you see, vodka is not only good with food, it's good in food. Well, that's it for this edition of Spirit Basics. Join us next week when we explore the mystical world of tequila. But in the meantime, I'm Stephen Olson, and for Jennifer Allan and the entire team here at Spirit Basics, see you next week. Nostrovia.
Special thanks to Willow Park Wine and Spirits, whose dedication to providing knowledge, awareness, and service to their customers has made this show possible.